What's up, you guys? All right, so this is like take 35 of my intro. Sometimes I like to have good intros, and sometimes it just doesn't come on the first try. It's just like, I don't know. So anyways, take 35. Take 36. What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are. And for real this time, take 37. Hey, everyone. All right, so here we are. It's the first day of July, and I'm up $27,000, so not bad. That's a good start. I'm happy with my profit today. I think the reason I've been kind of struggling on this recap is because I've been thinking a lot about the frustration that happens of losing money on the first day of the month, right? Because I've had it happen so many times in my career, so many times that it's actually like a pattern, a bad habit. Then on the first day of the month, I take a massive loss. Why does it happen? Because on the first day of the month, I give into emotional impulse. I have this emotion, which is that it would feel so good right now at the beginning of the month. Because at the beginning of the month, as long as you're not holding a trade from the previous month, you're break even, right? So you're zero. So everyone's at the same spot, and we all want to build that cushion of profit on the month as quickly as possible. We all have monthly goals. Mine is typically $20,000 in a cold month, $40,000, I could do another take there, but we'll just keep going. $40,000 in a good month. And so, of course, last few months have been even more than that, but if $40,000 is a good monthly goal, and the fact is July, summer trading, July can be good, but summer trading can be slow. So July could be anywhere from a $20,000 to $40,000 goal. And so the point is, it feels so good to try to make all of that in one day, make your whole goal in one day, and then the rest of the month is smooth sailing. I always, in school, and my middle school teacher can attest to this, my mom, probably lots of moms do this, keeps like all these things. And so she brought up a box of my, some middle school report cards, and the teacher said that Ross, he kind of rushes through his homework. He just, he said, Ross, his final report shows a complete lack of understanding of the topics discussed in this class. And, I've talked about this before. When I was in school, my goal was to finish homework as quickly as possible. I wasn't super academic. And although I ended up doing okay in college, in early years of school, I really wanted to be outside playing with my friends and doing fun stuff. And I think that emotional impulse to just like get it over with and it's checked off my list, even if it's not perfect, it can kind of carry over to trading, where first day of the new month, it's just try to hit a home run, get in the driver's seat, and if you have to get kind of scrappy and just trade something that's not perfect or whatever, you do it. And the fact is, that's not really a recipe for success. And in fact, more often than not, it's caused me to go red on the first day. And then the second day of the month, I have FOMO, I'm frustrated, I'm upset about the loss, I revenge trade, and it turns into a second red day, a third red day. And before I know it, I'm a week into the month and I'm down $20,000, $30,000 potentially. I've lost my monthly goal. So now I've got to double my monthly goal just to get back to the actual monthly goal in profit. So for those of you who may be red right now, whether it's the first day of July or you're red from the month of June and you're still kind of carrying that frustration, I really encourage you to step back and look at your metrics. Those trading metrics, to me, are so important because those metrics, when you look at them, and I can look at my metrics and see, you know what, the last couple of days I've had a couple unnecessary losses on FOMO trades on high-priced stocks. I had an almost $8,000 loss today on BNTX. The $73 stock jumping into it, coming out of a halt, and 3,000 shares lost $2 a share. Boom, just like that. Like instantly, it was down $6,000. And even though I understand why I took that trade, I would say it was a FOMO entry. I didn't wait for a good entry, and I gave into that emotional impulse. So, if I look at my metrics and I can notice that pattern, I can, from that data, make a decision to try to improve my trading. So tomorrow, which is the last day of the week because we've got Friday off for 4th of July, early, it's the 3rd, but I might say, okay, tomorrow, be really careful on anything that's a large cap stock over $20. Even though I had some profit on those in June and in May, perhaps right now that's not where we're seeing really good momentum in the market. So for me, reviewing the metrics is usually part of creating a game plan of how I'm going to dig myself out of the hole, knowing that you don't dig yourself out of the hole in one home run. It's so much easier and much more practical to try to hit 15 base hits than one home run, right? So over the course of 15 base hits of, $1,000, I could make back the 15,000 or whatever, 413 that I lost yesterday. And as it turns out today, over the course of 5 stocks I traded, I am up 27,000, and I had essentially a bunch of base hits. I had a couple of good trades, like really good ones, but mostly a lot of base hits and a couple of strikeouts too, but nothing major. So, regardless of where you're at here, tomorrow, second day of the month, okay, I know it'd be nice to get a redo, but you can't do a redo. So second day of the month, July 2nd, put today and the previous days behind you and just focus tomorrow on trying to take the best quality trades. Follow the rules. Don't give in to those emotions and trade as little as possible. Less is more. You don't need to overtrade. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Less is more. A couple good quality trades and then walk away and enjoy the long weekend. All right, so I'll be back at it, live streaming, first thing tomorrow morning, right around 9 a.m. here on YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I will do a live stream. I don't know if I'm gonna do one tomorrow. Haven't decided yet. I will do another free live stream on YouTube at some point, but we haven't gotten 5,000 thumbs up for last week's video yet. I checked last night and we weren't at 5,000 yet. So that was why I said 5,000 thumbs up, I'll schedule another live stream. So hit the thumbs up button both on that video from last week and from this one, and maybe I'll do something tomorrow, or if not, early next week. All right, so enjoy the recap. I'm gonna break down the trades from today, where things went right and also where things went wrong, and I'll see you guys back here first thing tomorrow morning. All right, nice work. Take 37. That was the one. That's what they always say, take 37. It's the one. All right, everyone, so we're gonna do our recap for today. I had a red day yesterday, and I was a little disappointed. My accuracy yesterday was 36%, which is pretty terrible. So when I sat down today, I was like, number one, I need to take it slow. All right, so that's my, this is my little turtle here, take it slow. And number two, I need to wear my cactuses. This is kind of how I clear the slate. So clearing the slate, came in this morning, and I was a little worried because yesterday was not a great day. I mean, it really wasn't a great day at all. Not only did I lose $13,000 or whatever it was, somewhere around 12, 13. My accuracy was just so bad. It wasn't like I had a good day and then I had one, bad trade. It was just generally not a great day at all. And I actually had profit and then I gave it back. So this morning, as I sat down, I was telling myself, again, not to try to be negative, but I was like, listen, it's the first day of the new month. Really don't want a second red day here. I don't want to start the month with another red day. So let's try to take it a little easy. So as I sat down around 9 o'clock, I did my pre-trading checklist. And it's funny, because yesterday I sat down and I was like, yesterday morning, I sat down and I was like, man, I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep well, but it's fine. So today, again, did I eat well? Did I sleep well? Yes and yes. All right, good, better than yesterday. Do I have a couple stocks on watch that I like? And what's the condition of the overall market? And as a reminder to everyone out there who is learning from me, do not blindly follow me or anyone else. So that pre-trading checklist. And I sat down and I saw MYOS was our leading gapper in the entire market. So I'll make this kind of big so we can focus more on charts. So MYOS, leading gap in the entire market. Well, I'm actually down 4,000 on it. I had one trade with 25,000 shares that I bought right here for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. I was in at about 35. It squeezed up to 50, hit a high of 51, and then dropped right down to 311. And so with 25,000 shares, every 10 cents is 2,500 bucks. So it dropped down 10 cents. I was down 2,500. That was at 25. It dropped down to 15, and I was down almost $5 grand, and I cut the loss down 4,400. So
you know, the thing with trading with big size is that those winners, I mean, the winners, they add up quickly, as you can see with OLGN, LGHL, but the losers add up just as fast. And sometimes one of the expressions that we have is that the bulls take the stairs and the bears take the window, or the bears take the elevator, meaning that it's often the case that we see stocks kind of grind higher and higher and higher and higher, and then all of a sudden, you know, the bottom falls out and you get this big drop. And I don't know why it's that way. I think it's really probably just a reflection of the fear and the greed in the market. But and at the same time, we've also seen some stocks that do go almost straight up. So sometimes the bears do seem to take the elevator. But whatever. So MYOS, that was frustrating, especially since a few minutes later it does pop up to 63. But now it's back down here at 265. So I also had a couple of trades on it earlier in this area here for the squeeze up to $3. But I sold early and then I got back in up here and stopped out. So I was actually only up $260 or so before this trade. And then that one got me for $4,400. But my first trade, and so we're looking at that one first because it's the leading gap in the entire market. Gapping up 147%, 6.4 million shares, 6.4 million share float, and 6.5 million shares of pre-market volume. Pre-market, before the bell even rang. Right now, let's see, it has 111 million shares. Lots of volume. Second leading gapper was YRCW, which I have traded before, and I'm honestly not that impressed with the action, although you can see it had a little bit of a move back here in September, and you know, back here. It's just not, I don't know, it's one that's a little bit more difficult to trade. It's a 35 million share float. It had 8 million shares of volume pre-market. It was already pulling back by the time the bell was ringing. It was looking weak. And so unfortunately on that, it just didn't look good, so no trades at all. Next one down, TTOO, gapping up 65%. This one, again, at the bell, it was already kind of stair-stepping down. And so was MYOS, which is why I wasn't really interested in MYOS until it broke over 285, which was this pre-market pivot. Next one, QLGN. QLGN up 61% at the open. And this one actually gave us a couple of nice opportunities for a pre-market trade. So I had a long on this, I think it was for the break of 650. Yeah, it was right here for the break over 640. So I jumped into this pre-market, I think this was around, I can't remember where, I think I got in at 625, that's right. So let's look at the 1 minute chart. So 625 was this little micro pullback right here. It hit 625, it pulled back, and then as it curled back up, I added for the break over 25. The pre-market high at that point was 635, and it squeezed up to 35. I added. It broke 35, it hit 40, and squeezed up to 59. Then the first 1 minute pullback right here, I added. It squeezed up to 66. And at the open, I took a gap and go trade long for the break of 650, adding into 660, 675, 20,000 shares, and we got a squeeze on this up to 742. First 1 minute candle to make a new high, back in there, and a squeeze up here to a high of 750, and then there's the bears taking the window as it all of a sudden drops down. A bounce off VWAP, it pops up. I took a dip trade here and lost on it, and at that point I was like, I'm done. I'm not going back at this. I already went through that yesterday with CARV, so I'm done. $22,000, and that was after giving back some profit here. So I was probably up closer to maybe 25 or 27, but walking away with 21 or 22, which is good. So that was all in the first pre-market up until 9:40. So by 9:40 a.m., I was up $22,000. My next trade was BNTX. Now BNTX, I'm down 7,900 on, and this one had a big move pre-market and then got halted. It resumed, opened, it dipped down for a second. I took a starter of 1,000 shares at 75. It flushed down to 73, and I stopped out for an $1,800 loss. So I was like, that's annoying. I then got back in as it curled back up through 75, and squeezes up to 75.73. This time I took 3,000 shares in at around 75.50, and it flushes down to 73.50, and I lost $6,000 on 3,000 shares, $2 a share, and with that I was like, okay, I'm done. So higher price stock, a little bit more aggressive, but that COVID catalyst I thought was going to be stronger. It's an early report, Pfizer and BioNTech, early results that it's maybe producing some positive data, but the market didn't really respond to it the way I thought it would. So kind of was bummed out there, because with that I was up 22 and then down 7. I was up only about 15,000, and I was like, okay, you know what? This might be the time for me just to stop. You know, I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to get any more action. And that was before the loss on MYOS, and before IPWR, and before LGHL. So the next trade was on MYOS at about 285 as it was curling up. And I, again, I had a couple winners on it, and then I gave back the profit. So I was sort of like, that's not really working. LGHL was an interesting one. This one hit the high day momentum scanners right here. So this was the pre-market high. This was the high at 75. So it came up right here, and as it tapped 75, I pulled it up, and I realized that this setup was one that we actually teach in the small cap classes. And let me just pull this chapter up. So let's see, I'll just grab this here for you. Hang on one second. All right, so this is chapter 8. So we've got chapter 8, long setup. That one I'm going to work on soon. So these are the dip strategy. Back here, we've got the VWAP breakout. Back here, we've got recent IPO breakout. So the recent IPO breakout, chapter 8, setup 12. We've seen these recent IPO stocks make some really impressive moves. GMPX, somewhat recent IPO, all of a sudden rips through 623 and off it goes. Here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. We've got, a bunch of them. So it's a pretty well-defined setup at this point, that when you have a somewhat recent IPO, that when they start to open up and they break through the all-time highs, that they have no upside resistance. And so you could easily, on this type of stock, see a move from 450 to 550, 650, 750, maybe even 10. Now, this had two problems. Well, the first, it had some problems, but also had some things going for it. What it had going for it yesterday was that it did spike up on 1.28 million shares of volume. Today, it's got 4 million shares. So it's continuing that momentum. I jumped in, there was a 15,000 share seller right here at 75. And as that started to break, it went 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is that setup on the level 2 that we talk about so many times in the classes. It's a seller getting bought up. And so we've got so many videos where you see instances of that, and you see how as soon as that seller gets bought up, you get that quick snap, you get that quick pop. And so I jumped in there, and then I added, as it squeezed higher, into a halt at 293. I then put an order to add at 350. It opened, it dipped down, I added at 350, and it rips into another halt right here at 375. Now, as I took profit for the break over 350, it pops up through 350, right into the halt, another halt. It then opens and hits a high of 410 right here. And the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, the break of 4, I was back in it for that setup. But you can see, unfortunately, it did a nice dip off of the VWAP right here, and I was long. I then added right here at 4, and unfortunately, we double topped. And so what this stock did not have going for it was anything other than a technical breakout. Technical breakouts on recent IPO stocks can work. They start hitting the scanners, they start squeezing up, traders realize there's no upside resistance, and they can work. You can have a good trade, a good opportunity. But I think inherently some people see no catalyst and they feel like, oh, it's a little risky. It's a technical setup, but there's not fresh news. And so the two technical setups, break of the previous day's high, 344, and then a recent IPO breakout for anticipating a break over 450, and unfortunately it just couldn't do it. So although it was a nice winner for sure, both right here, adding right here, and taking profit up around here, the high was 410, and then adding on the dip of the VWAP, and then I did another dip trade right down here, but this one didn't work out as well. Kind of just went sideways and then came lower. I would say if this through the afternoon can trend back up and get over the VWAP, it wouldn't surprise me at all to come back later or tomorrow and see that it did break over 450. And just because this one didn't work today, it's still a recent IPO setup, and it's still something that I will come back to and keep an eye on. The break of 450 is really the spot. Today's high is 410. Yesterday, a good example of afternoon momentum on POLA. So the morning, some follow through, but then false breakout up here. As you might recall, I took a loss on that, and a drop back down, broke the VWAP, very weak, and then through the afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock, it starts to curl back up, gets a break through the highs, and off it goes from 3 up to 4 to 450, after hours up to 550. So I'm not interested in sitting here for the next 4 hours in hopes that maybe that will happen, because some days it happens and some days it doesn't. But this is one that I'll keep an eye on tomorrow. And QLGN, similarly, you never know. This one might curl back up above the VWAP, but unfortunately, although it was a nice gap and go trade and gave a nice pre-market trade, it isn't holding up. Yesterday, and the reason I was concerned yesterday was because of how difficult the trades on Carve were. Carve being our leading gapper and failing so miserably. So while Carve was really nasty out of the gates, I would say QLGN, which is the biggest winner today, was actually pretty decent. It gave us a pretty nice, clean gap and go trade on a squeeze from 666 up to 750, almost $1 a share. So I liked that. I thought it was good, but so maybe tomorrow, I don't know, maybe does that clear the slate from that choppiness that we had yesterday? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. But when I sit down tomorrow, of course, I'll be looking at the gap scanner. I'll be hoping to see some good, good stocks on there, and maybe, we'll get some good momentum, we'll get some good opportunities, and we can, make a little bit of money. So it's only the first day here of July. Nice to start the month with a cushion, but I've had many months where I started in the red. So if you're starting in the red today, one of the things that's really important, and we talked about this yesterday, is trying to stop the bleeding. So it's just trying to tighten up and figure out where you're losing, where you're having these excessive and sort of unnecessary losses, and tighten that up first. Trying to just focus on hitting home runs and getting big winners, that's not gonna really get you out of the hole. You gotta tighten up the losses first. The winners will follow. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, July 2nd. And don't forget, if you haven't already checked it out, our 4th of July sales are currently running, so you can come over to warriortrading.com to check those out. All right, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Help us hit 750,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button, and stay tuned and check out some of my other awesome uploads right here on YouTube.